We heard last week about the leaking of the information, the statement that the young lady made to the police, the leaking of that statement, so that it went viral across social media platforms. Most people in Dominica know about it. And then coming out of that, the concern as to whether lawyers for the accused will make an argument about kicking out the case because of jury bias and prejudice. We have to be careful of this. I only want to remind the people of Dominica tonight that Dominica is part of the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that operates on many other countries in the Caribbean. And so, while we may have an issue in Dominica, arguably, it must be possible to find jurors from elsewhere in the same jurisdiction to sit on this matter. Or alternatively, to take the entire case and move it to another country in the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is how we will protect our children. We are not going to protect children in Dominica by creating all these circumstances where their cases of merit can be tossed on legal technicality and fancy legal footwork. That's not how we protect children.
Good afternoon, Dominica. Very interesting statement there by the opposition leader. Made that statement sometime on the weekend in New York at a special forum. Elijah Baptist, good afternoon to you.
Hi, Matt. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your many listeners.
Did you hear what I heard?
What, Matt? I am trying to make sense of what the opposition leader is saying, and if I am baffled.
You seem like you're lost for words.
Because it's not a sensible statement.
Sensible how?
Because
he's saying, Khalid, if this case goes down the road it's going, it appears that it may be thrown out of the window because of all what's going on. Statements being leaked. We've seen it happen before. He's saying there must be an alternative.
Yeah, but before even made that, before making that call, first of all, I get the feeling that he's assuming that there is enough evidence for him to face the case. That is what I'm getting from him. It's like he's already saying that there is enough evidence in what he has seen thus far.
He's not. That's what you're assuming that he's saying.
Well, listen, play back the statement and you will hear it. And also, Matt, he is speaking about the jury to get the case out of Dominica, but that is not possible, Matt. That is not possible. So you're telling me that so first of all, he should read the Jury Act, because I mean, if something that has been committed in Dominica, it cannot be removed from Dominica's jurisdiction. So I'm saying that he's ill-informed in making those statements.
Let's see. I don't know if I interpret it the way that you are. I'm listening.
We heard last week about the leaking of the information, the statement that the young lady made to the police, the leaking of that statement, so that it went viral across social media platforms. Most people in Dominica know about it. And then coming out of that, the concern as to whether lawyers for the accused will make an argument about kicking out the case because of jury bias and prejudice. We have to be careful of this. I only want to remind the people of Dominica tonight that Dominica is part of the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that operates on many other countries in the Caribbean. And so, while we may have an issue in Dominica, arguably, it must be possible to find jurors from elsewhere in the same jurisdiction to sit on this matter. Or alternatively, to take the entire case and move it to another country in the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is how we will protect our children. We are not going to protect children in Dominica by creating all these circumstances where their cases of merit can be tossed on legal technicality and fancy legal footwork. That's not how we protect children.
You're still standing by what you said, Carlisle?
That exactly, that's I'm telling you, that what I've said is correct. Because he has stated that about the case and about the evidence is, I'm getting the feeling that he has already seen all the evidence and he's saying that.
He has not said that, Carlisle, so you have to be careful how you interpret just that. He has not said that. You're assuming that's what he want to say. I'm taking the statement word for word, and for the third time, I'll play it, Carlisle John Baptist. I'll play that statement.
I heard last week about the leaking of the information, the statement that the young lady made to the police, the leaking of that statement, so that it went viral across social media platforms. Most people in Dominica know about it. And then coming out of that, the concern as to whether lawyers for the accused will make an argument about kicking out the case because of jury bias and prejudice. We had to be careful of this. I only want to remind the people of Dominica tonight that Dominica is part of the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that operates on many other countries in the Caribbean. And so, while we may have an issue in Dominica, arguably, it must be possible to find jurors from elsewhere in the same jurisdiction to sit on this matter. Or alternatively, to take the entire case and move it to another country in the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is how we will protect our children.
Let me allow Carlisle. Carlisle, you're sticking to your point.
Matthew, you heard him again. To find jurors elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's saying that to find jurors elsewhere, and that is not provided for under our constitution, and also to take the entire case.
No, but to assume that you think that he knows or have seen the document. He did not say that, did he?
No, I did not say he said that.
What did you say?
I am saying that he spoke about the way he's speaking is as if he is aware or he knows about the evidence which that there is, and based on that.
In other words, you think he's talking like he knows the results of the case, like it's going to be a not guilty or guilty.
That is correct, and he has already established that there is a prima facie case to produce, to move forward. I'm saying that he's gone over and beyond. He's gone over and beyond that.
You're thinking that he's rushing this one?
Of course, his statement is, to me, is out of context. I mean, he's speaking about he's speaking about finding jurors elsewhere. The Patrick John case, Matt. You remember the Patrick John case of many years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Who were the jurors on that case? Dominicans. So what is the issue? If the DPP finds, that is, if the DPP finds there is enough evidence, then the DPP will have a trial. But the Office of Director of Public Prosecution, because that is where the case has to go first, that is where they will decide on that. And to have made that statement to me is just for the compounding that publicity thing. That statement to me is out of context.
But you we have to be honest with this one, Kala. You've been hearing a lot of this case out there based on the statements released, viral, and a lot of people are suggesting within legal circles that based on what has gone on, the case is very shaky. You've heard that?
I cannot say that. But let the matter take its due course.
But the opposition leader is making that statement based, I'm sure, on what he's hearing within those circles.
But Matt, the statement by the opposition leader of finding jurors elsewhere.
Okay, you think he's taking it too far?
He's ill-informed because we have never had that occasion. And if you read the Jury Act, it does not speak about those things. And even to take the entire case out of Dominica, man, that is not making sense.
John Baptist, I will be calling you in a little while. All right, let's take a few other phone calls. Hello, talk to me. How you doing?
Yeah, tell Carla to listen to what Sir Brian Allen said and listen to what Mr. Linton said before he arrives to that conclusion.
All right, I'll go back to Sir Brian Allen. Hello, talk to me. And I'll do that, juxtapose the two statements. 4493095, 4493096, and 4493097. Hello.
First, good afternoon to you, sir.
How are you, sir?
Very well indeed. I have told you before, I will defend to death Carlyle's right to use his democratic right to speak. That does not mean I necessarily agree with him.
All right.
What Mr. Linton is saying makes a lot of sense. The gentleman is saying to you, from what I've been hearing, this case might fall on a technicality. If that is the case, there's an whatever it is in the Eastern Caribbean, in our jurisdiction, it is possible. I don't see any reason why not, that cannot happen.
But maybe that it has not happened, and I guess based on the Jurors Act, I don't know if it's possible. But we'll get a professional opinion now.
Yes, but I think it's possible, Matt. To be quite honest.
All right. Hello, talk to me. Hello. Yes.
Stop buffering. Mr. Linton said.
Let's deal with what is before us, and don't get personal here. Hello, talk to me.
Said if it is possible. He didn't say it can happen or whatever Carlyle said. Mr. Linton said if the case going to throw out here, if it is possible to try somewhere else. That's all he's saying.
Thank you very much. It's 1:23. Very interesting. Hello.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing?
About Carlyle's statement, he keeps saying that what Mr. Linton is saying does not make sense, but he doesn't bring any facts to prove to us that what Mr. Linton is saying does not make sense. He keeps saying it doesn't make sense, but based on what?
Because have we had a situation where we've had to get jurors from the outside to deal with that matter, or a matter similar to that? 123, hello.
Hello, yes. For our children's sake, we should do everything as possible.
That's the point you're getting, right?
Yes. If it means taking the case elsewhere where there will be no jury bias, I think it's a good thing to probably do it for the first time in Dominica's history, because there is going to be, technicalities, as we know. Many cases has gone before, and there's been.
So that's the point you're getting from Mr. Linton's statement.
I think Mr. Linton's statement is very up to current. It's relevant, and it's something that we should consider doing, actually removing the case from Dominica, because there's going to be so much bias in Dominica towards this case. I think it would be best if that case was taken out to our similar system or elsewhere.
All right, I think I'm getting your point. It's 124. Hello.
King, what's up now?
How you doing, brother?
I cool.
Wow, a play on words there?
Not necessarily, Matt. There are situations where matters can be, or measures can be unprecedented, Matt. You know what I mean? And I do not know, Carlyle mentioned the Jurors Act, and I really don't know what he's privy to, why he's making that statement. But if you listen to the brother, and one caller mentioned that, and that is what went through my mind when I heard Mr. Linton, having to do with the possibility. That doesn't mean he have evidence is going to fall through the cracks, but he was just making provision for the possibility, and it might not be applicable in that situation, Matt, to have the matter elsewhere out of our jurisdiction. But if there is a collaboration in the existing laws that govern the OECS, Matt, you get with me?
I follow you.
Could there be a clause within that constitution or agreement having to do with the collaboration or the harmonization of laws? Could there be the possibility? Matt, I'm no lawyer. I'm just going through, and I don't know. If I'm sounding ridiculous, my apologies.
I'm following you, Blessings. Go ahead.
What the brother is saying, in the interest of the children, can we break the status quo, get out of the box, Matt, and move the matter elsewhere? It may sound ridiculous, but is it a possibility? Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Let's see. The argument continues here. Hello.
Matthias, do we want to crucify a man over a kiss, my God? A kiss?
Well, you bring in the evidence forward there, caller. Be very careful about that. You're trying to bring information forward that we're not privy to. Hello. Hello. Hello, talk to me. 4493095. Hello.
Good afternoon, my brother.
How you doing?
Matt, it's very interesting.
It's very interesting.
I believe that the statement that the political leader, the leader of the opposition made,
yes,
it is not so far-fetched, my brother. I am not saying that it is the case. Now, Carlyle himself was not able to state categorically this cannot be done. He said, like, it has never been done. That doesn't, because why I say it is not so far-fetched, my brother, I've lived in a province of Alberta, in Canada, various cities, and it is a single legal jurisdiction. And in situations such as this, where just the same way, because of some publicity situation, they are concerned about the jury selection, they will move the case to a different city within the province, or they will move jurors from outside the city, the one city. In other words, this is not so unusual, and in the United States, I'm sure you will hear that situation existing also. So I would say that what is critical about the political leader statement is that he stated this is a single Eastern Caribbean court jurisdiction. So if this is the case, if we cannot make those changes interregionally, I say we need to look at this. And I will end by saying, my brother, we also know, I have been involved in a matter that was heard here at the court in Dominica, a local matter, and after it was heard, we had to actually travel, the attorneys representing both sides, and of course we had to travel to St. Vincent, where the judge was going to actually hand down his final decision, where the case was going to be continued. And we were in court in St. Vincent. Senior counsel Astafan was there, and of course Mr. Julian Prevost was there. So they had to call another lawyer and find out this thing, because Carlyle says, oh, this, that. I say, boss, until I can hear a legal person tell me that this cannot be done in our jurisdiction, I am not prepared to accept that the leader is out of whack. Have a good day, my brother.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back right after this.
We heard last week about the leaking of the information, the statement that the young lady made to the police, the leaking of that statement, so that it went viral across social media platforms. Most people in Dominica know about it. And then coming out of that, the concern as to whether lawyers for the accused will make an argument about kicking out the case because of jury bias and prejudice. We have to be careful of this. I only want to remind the people of Dominica tonight that Dominica is part of the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that operates on many other countries in the Caribbean. And so, while we may have an issue in Dominica, arguably, it must be possible to find jurors from elsewhere in the same jurisdiction to sit on this matter. Or alternatively, to take the entire case and move it to another country in the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is how we will protect our children. We are not going to protect children in Dominica by creating all these circumstances where their cases of merit can be tossed on legal technicality and fancy legal footwork. That's not how we protect children.
I'm trying to get a lawyer's perspective on this one here. Hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
How you doing, my brother?
Good, Matt. All I'm seeing, Matt,
Yeah.
the leader of the opposition wants justice to be done.
Right.
And he's just passionate about it. That's how I conclude. He's just passionate about justice being done. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, pleasant afternoon to you. Matt, pleasant afternoon to
My brother, I'm getting a double call there from you. When you call me, please turn on the volume on the radio. Hello. Yes.
I support the Honorable Clinton 100%.
All right, you support him. And why do you support him? Hello, talk to me.
Yes, Matt. Pleasant afternoon to you.
Thank you.
Pleasant afternoon to listeners for Q90. Matt, Mr. Linton have not said nothing wrong. Mr. Linton has just been precautious, Matt. We have seen what have happened in the past in Dominica, Matt. I mean, we know as long as you're a supporter of this government, Matt.
Don't make that political. Don't make it political. Speak on the legal aspect of it, because some people are saying that, Mr. Linton should have been careful before making that statement. You're hearing different sides to the coin here. So please, stay on the non-political side there. Stay apolitical in the center, okay? But go ahead.
Matt, yes. It is not good to make this political, Matt. Like I said, and I'll say it again, he's just been precautious, Matt, because we have seen a lot of injustice happen in Dominica, Matt. And this matter where one of our minors was brutally attacked, Matt.
You don't know that, you haven't seen the evidence, so don't say about she being brutally attacked. You have to be careful about that. You were not there, my brother. Thank you. See? Go on that line there. Stay on that line. Were you there? Did you see her being brutally attacked? No. Thank you very much. Hello, talk to me.
Good afternoon to you, Matt.
Hello.
Not even that raping that will not agree with his statements. Bye-bye.
All right, you see, you're starting to get personal, and I'll stay away from that. Hello. Talk to me. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
You see, we must be careful with the things we say, and we must listen carefully. Mr. Linton said, it must be possible. That reminds me of the Kinadburn case when he said he must have found. Okay? Then tomorrow he will say, I said may have. He said it must be possible, right? And he has no evidence to prove that.
Hello, let's move on. Hello.
Hi, Matt.
How you doing, brother?
Let me try to weigh in a little bit there.
Yeah, do that. Give your 2 cents.
Matt, the court in the region is one court.
Right.
You have the judges moving from here. A judge will leave here today and go to Antigua tomorrow or St. Vincent or Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
So we seem to have one court system.
But do we have a possibility of, have we ever seen jurors moving across?
Well, I don't see any reason why those things cannot be done, because I know even in bigger developed countries like States, Canada, and these places,
okay,
people are moved around, and you find that if there's too much controversy in an area, they could move the case to another area. And so those things, there is precedence with those things being done, and seeing that we appear to be in one court system, to me, it looks easy. I'm not a legal mind, but it looks on the outset as is a quite simple operation.
But why this case more than any other case?
Well, Matt, I'm not going to go into the politics of it, but to me, whether this case or any other case, well, you got to start somewhere. So if we want to start this, with this case, but I believe this is something we should look at into the future, because I am sure there will be other instances with things that are highly publicized, and you may want to try it in another jurisdiction, another island. So we could look at the pros and cons, and we'll see how we take it from there.
All right. Hello, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Morning. Oh, good afternoon.
Matt, I've been listening to the program, and I'm asking myself, which one of us, the guy from St. Thomas or any one of us, putting ourselves in the case, in a position of the child, which one of us doing that? Which one of us thinking of the parent of the child? Isn't the child, the parent deserve justice? Isn't that case deserve to be fair?
Is it about the parents of the child? We about both sides. Both sides deserve justice. Both sides, yes?
Exactly. So then when you think of what's going on with the information leaked out from the police, and all that being on social media, if it's going to ruin the case in Dominica, why can't it not be tried in another country?
But what you mean ruin the case? Ruin the case on whose side?
On both sides. On both sides. Because right now it's a matter of proving who is guilty and who is not.
Right.
And if the matter has already gone
viral, yes.
Viral, I think Mr. Linton has a good point. We should try to find a way to put it somewhere where we think both sides can get a fair trial.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much. Hello. 449-3095 and 96. Hello.
Hey, Matt. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you.
How you doing?
Good. And Matt, from what I gather from the leader of the opposition, it shows a clear indication that the guy is thinking out of the box.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. And if we're serious about justice in Dominica for victims, especially our children, you have to think outside the box, right? Because we know what the justice like in Dominica, especially with sensitive case like this, where information is being spread all over the internet. Because of that, you have to think outside the box. And the opposition leader is making a very valid point. If we're in the jurisdiction of the OECS, you're having the judges coming from Grenada, St. Vincent, Antigua, all of them, all over. They can come and overturn a case in Dominica. They can go in St. Vincent, they can overturn a case. Why can't we get jurors to go in? Why can't we get jurors from any one of those other areas there to stand on the case and listen and try to be fair, try to have the case with no bias. And I think that's the better way to go.
All right, caller, let's take another phone call. Hello.
Yeah, Matt, how are you doing, my brother?
Hey, Brian, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Matt, a few months ago,
the
Parliament of Dominica met to pass the Asset Management Corporation legislation. You remember that?
I remember that, yes.
Yeah. One of the things that we learned, the public learned, is that for that legislation to be effective in Dominica, it had to be passed in a certain amount of countries, certain other countries in the OECS. Do you remember that also?
Yes.
Okay, so again, that highlights the fact that a number of callers have been making that we have a court where it's all the countries benefit from the same court, the same judges. We have harmonized legislation in many instances. So the possibility that the leader of the opposition is talking about, if it is not existing, Matt, it should exist, and that should be a suggestion for the future in terms of developing the court as we move along. We heard from one of your callers, I could identify him as Mr. Mike Wallace. His intervention, Matt, was very instructive, where he mentioned an issue where a case in Dominica was actually moved to St. Vincent to be adjudicated. So we have precedent set already, and in fact it must be the unprecedented that makes it become set the precedent. So if that is not happening, Matt, I think the legal minds throughout the region should take note and ensure that that is a feature for our court, for the CCJ, not only with respect to child molestation issues or so, but all other issues which may have to be adjudicated over from time to time, Matt.
Thank you very much. Carlisle is wrong with his assessment of what he thinks Lennox may be saying. He's not attributing, this caller is talking about is Lennox. He's not attributing guilt or innocence or anything. He's simply saying that we operate under the Caribbean court. If that is the case, in the interest of a fair trial, why can't we put a pool from jurors elsewhere or move the case elsewhere? 449309697 or 6164257. Let's listen to Brian Allen recently.
Well, I don't know anything about the particular case, but what I would say is if in a criminal trial before a jury, material is leaked, is made public that could prejudice the mind of the jurors one way or the other, then that might undermine the integrity of the case. And it may cause, one, an innocent person to be convicted, or two, a guilty person to be exonerated, because vital evidence is undermined, is prejudiced.
Have you seen that happen in the past, sir?
Has it happened in the past?
Yes.
Oh, yes, these things happen. These things happen, and there's precedent to support that.
We heard last week about the leaking of the information, the statement that the young lady made to the police, the leaking of that statement, so that it went viral across social media platforms. Most people in Dominica know about it. And then coming out of that, the concern as to whether lawyers for the accused will make an argument about kicking out the case because of jury bias and prejudice. We had to be careful of this. I only want to remind the people of Dominica tonight that Dominica is part of the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that operates on many other countries in the Caribbean. And so, while we may have an issue in Dominica, arguably, it must be possible to find jurors from elsewhere in the same jurisdiction to sit on this matter. Or alternatively, to take the entire case and move it to another country in the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is how we will protect our children. We are not going to protect children in Dominica by creating all these circumstances where their cases of merit can be tossed on legal technicality and fancy legal footwork. That's not how we protect children. We heard last week about the leaking of the information, the statement that the young lady made to the police, the leaking of that statement, so that it went viral across social media platforms. Most people in Dominica know about it. And then coming out of that, the concern as to whether lawyers for the accused will make an argument about kicking out the case because of jury bias and prejudice. We have to be careful of this. I only want to remind the people of Dominica tonight that Dominica is part of the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court that operates on many other countries in the Caribbean. And so, while we may have an issue in Dominica, arguably, it must be possible to find jurors from elsewhere in the same jurisdiction to sit on this matter. Or alternatively, to take the entire case and move it to another country in the jurisdiction of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. That is how we will protect our children. We are not going to protect children in Dominica by creating all these circumstances where their cases of merit can be tossed on legal technicality and fancy legal footwork. That's not how we protect children.
I finally think I got a lawyer to give his 2 cents on this one. Mr. Clement, based in the Turks and Caicos Islands. What's your legal opinion on this, sir?
Yes, just listening to it. We operate, OECS operates a one single court, so to speak. But when it comes down to the law of territorial jurisdiction, no other country can try a case within their jurisdiction that did not happen within their territorial jurisdiction, unless, for instance, that they had, there's a specific law, and you go back to a case from 1963, Cox and Army Council, where a British soldier who had committed an offense in Germany and was tried in was tried in the UK. He appealed that the case, the matter did not happen in the UK but Germany, and so the British court did not have jurisdiction. But the House of Lords held that the fact that there was a special law to guarantee that made it okay. So we can say from there that in the absence of a specific law granting another jurisdiction the right to hear matters that happen outside the jurisdiction, it cannot happen. We have the OECS court
Court of Appeal, legislation, I think it's 402 or somewhere there. I don't remember what it is. But it does not give such right. So, yes, there's a concern about jury bias. But when we look at the cases of jury bias, I think Goff out of Jamaica that went to the Privy Council, they say that invariably in these small islands, most people are going to hear about everything. And it's not a large jurisdiction where it's going to have, unless it's so offensive. Remember the case of Patrick John when he was being retried? When he was being retried, he brought up bias. And the court held that he had just, in the intervening time, had an election result out of St. Joseph, where he ran between the time that he was at the no-case submission and the retrial. He ran and won the St. Joseph constituency. And the court said, hey, you won that thing, so that means you're a popular guy. It doesn't have a negative effect on you. I'm not saying that we should chance it to that. But in reference to the real matter of the leak, that leak should have been stopped because it's been so long that everybody has heard of it. You start with the person who took the statement and you go down and you must find where it was sent to an unauthorized person. Police had to take action long ago. And some police officer or some person who was authorized to see it and then sent it to some authorized person should have been behind bars by now. So everybody who got a copy of it would have deleted it by now. And it has been made to hemorrhage throughout society, and now all sorts of conspiracy theories have been bandaged about, being hung about.
A lot of people feel with this leak, if you will, that there will be an issue of justice on both sides. How do we resolve this now?
Well, to resolve this now is to get,
and hence, of course, the message there, or the statement from the opposition leader, that he's concerned that, given what's going on, there may not be justice.
There may not be justice, but again, we can feel that way. But the court, whenever you start a trial, the judge warns the jury, and the prosecutor warns the jury. The defense always warns the jury that evidence is what is given upon oath within the four corners of the court. Statements being out there, depositions are made, and sometimes witnesses don't stick to depositions. So I think we really have to wait until the court, the case, the evidence that comes out before the jury.
It may be all this discussion may be premature.
Yes, our discussion may be premature. I'm not saying that. The statement may be authentic. I don't know if it is. I haven't seen it. I don't. The civilian side of me would wish to see it, but the legal side of me, have denied it. I don't want to see. I don't want to see it. I've told people not to send it to me. But the thing about it becomes that what happens when we go to court? Is the evidence going to be different from that? What if the evidence is different? What if it turns? We would have made all this hoopla for something that is not really relevant. So I believe we should wait for the court case and let the matter be dealt with at court, because the preliminary inquiry, if it comes to, will be closed because it's a sexual offense matter, and even the trial will be closed. So witnesses, jurors, prospective jurors, can go in with because in Dominica, jurors are human beings. No matter how you tell them to take away their minds from whatever they may have heard or read, they're human beings, and they're going to have read. And in every trial, jurors have heard something. In every trial.
But as given the statement before us as it relates to the opposition leader, that is not a possibility. There's no way.
That's not a possibility. That would require a statutory regime. That would require a statutory regime simply because of the territorial jurisdiction. I currently teach criminal practice and procedure for UE in their program, in the UE online program, and that is the first class we did. That's why I was able to give you the case. Physical jurisdiction and territorial jurisdiction. You just cannot go to another territory and try a matter that didn't happen within your boundaries unless there's a specific statutory regime to do that. And we don't. And it is something I've said that could help cooperation and deal with things within the OECS. We have one court. Yet if I want to go to St. Lucia to practice, I have to be called to the bar in St. Lucia, although I'm called to the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court bar in Dominica. So that is a statutory regime that the opposition leader and even the government should take into consideration in trying to get done. During Hurricane or Tropical Storm Erica, when the RSS police officers came to assist, they all had to be sworn in as special constables to operate in Dominica. So, and although RSS is a Caribbean or OECS type thing, but there is the RSS legislation that makes provisions for that. So unless you have a statutory regime, it cannot happen. No.
All right, Mr. Clement Joseph, thanks for weighing in.
Okay then.
Thank you. I'm hoping some of your questions were answered. So from a legal point of view, it appears that Mr. Carlisle and Baptist were standing strong there. $155. I got a lawyer from out of the jurisdiction there. A Dominican practicing in Turks and Caicos. 156, stock on the block. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Pelte.
Mm-hmm.
You see the technicality there, Mr. Pelte?
Yep.
So maybe the leader spoke out of ignorance, and Carlisle was completely right. So he said there must be a possibility, and then the brother is saying, no, even if we operate in the same space, so to speak, within the jurisdictions of law and all of that, but look at the technicality there, Matt. There must be some special provisions made for that to happen, and the leader, I guess, is not aware of that. So, you see, let us not beat down on Carlisle. Carlisle, I did not beat down on you today.
Thank you very much for taking a break. When we come back, we'll join the Digicel.
I say I know. Yes, I know many of you are pressed under the burden of debt. It's hard, but there's hope. I have good news for you today. Yes, good news. The folks at Flow have given me a special message just for you. That if you have any unpaid bill or debt from 7 years ago until now, you can be debt-free at last. Flow will swipe away up to 80% of your debt. It's called the Flow Debt-Free Amnesty. So you only pay up to 20%, and you can say goodbye to your Flow debt.
Did you hear that, honey? This is unbelievable. All of our phone, mobile, and internet bills from Flow can disappear once and for all. Just what we needed right now.
Yes, my people. Flow debt-free at last. We can flow debt-free at last. We, the people at Flow, endorse this message. Call, come in, go online, and let us help you wipe away all your bills at last. Promotion ends 31st March 2016. Flow terms and conditions apply.
Do you want to save 80% on your electricity bill and still extend the life of your lightings? SJ Lighting and Electrical Store, Double Dragon Trading Limited at River Road, Picard, Portsmouth. LED lighting, we do it best. LED light sources, solar lights, crystal lamps, ceiling lamps, chandeliers, low voltage lamps and bulbs, fancy, classy and exquisite lights for your home or business. Search Facebook SJ Lighting. Check in store at River Road, Picard, Portsmouth. Call 767-445-3755. SJ Lighting, Electrical Store, Double Dragon Trading Limited, Picard, Portsmouth. LED lighting, we do it best.
St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival celebrates an unforgettable journey with the best of the years, recapturing the most nostalgic moments, creating new magic with their Supply and Chris Standring, George Benson and Joey Alexander, Cool of the Gang and Omi, BWB and Shaggy are just a few, alongside headliner Mark Anthony. An island party not soon forgotten. The St. Lucia Jazz and Arts Festival 25th anniversary, April 29th to May 8th. Visit stluciajazz.org. Executive producer, the St. Lucia Tourist Board, platinum sponsor RBC Royal Bank.
Brighter Days, the one-stop shop for your baby diapers, wipes, cleaning products, grocery items, and bulk or wholesale items. Located on the corner of Great George and Hillsborough Streets by the All Saints Medical School. Visit us today. Open Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Telephone number is 448-1636. Brighter Days.